everybody, Jenni Hackworth, the Rockstar Real Estate Agent here. Wanted to talk to you a little bit today about building versus buying. Okay? There are obviously pros and cons to both building and buying. Alright, we're going to talk a little bit today about the pros and cons of each and how a realtor can help you through the process of both. Okay? So, for building, one of the big pros for a lot of people is that you're the first owner. Nobody else has lived there. It's your home. It's never been anybody else's home. Okay? And that's a huge pro for a lot of people. One of the other big pros is that you get to choose all of the finishes and customizations of the house. And what I mean by that is that if you're using a builder like J.G. Gardner or Century Homes, you go into their design studio and you get to choose what cabinets you want and in what color. You get to choose the flooring that you want, whether you want hardwood floors or whether you want carpet, what kind of carpet you want, what color hardwood floors you want. Everything right down to the tile in the shower or in the bathroom. The countertops, you get to choose all of that. So it's your style exactly. And it's a lot of, having built before, it's a lot of fun going to pick the cabinets and really getting in there and designing your home. I had a blast with it, and because we were still about 6 months out from moving in, I took pictures of everything just to make sure that I remembered exactly what I had asked for, and so on. So that's a definite plus. You get to choose all of that and get to design exactly what you want in your home. One major pro, as far as a little ways down the line monetarily, is that there's that kind of thing. Another pro is that all of your appliances, because they're brand new, are usually more energy efficient. So that saves you money when it comes to your electric bill or your gas bill. You don't have to worry about it wasting energy. So it's usually cheaper on your gas and your electric bills. Some electric companies and so on will give you discounts if you have energy efficient appliances. So check into that as well. But your appliances are usually more energy efficient because they are so new. Some of the cons of building. The two big ones that we're going to talk about are time and money. Okay? Building can be more expensive. One of the two big places, but one of the big places that you'll see that difference is in the lot premium or paying for the land. Okay, if you already own the land and you've paid off the land and you're building on it now, you've got your architect and so on, that's not a cost you have to factor in any longer. If you don't own the land, or say you're building in a community where the builder owns the neighborhood and you pick out your lot, depending on where you pick your lot premium may be high. One of the other places, and I kind of touched on it before, where you can end up spending a lot of money is at the design center. All right, you very, very much have the option to choose some of the still good quality but lower end or cheaper carpets, cabinets, tiles, etc. That will save you money in the long run. However, if you go with the top of the line granite countertops and granite in the shower and hardwood everywhere and just top of the line everything, it's going to be a little bit more expensive. So just be aware of that. Building can be more expensive. Now, if you are using an architect and you have, contractors and so on, you can very easily go above budget depending on how long they take and so on. So be aware of that as well. All right. And as far as time, your time frame goes, okay, for building, it can take anywhere from 6 to 18 months or more, again, depending on how and where you're building. It can take 6 to 18 months for your home to be finished. So this isn't a put in an offer and you move in within 30 to 45 days or so. This is a long term, this is our timeline. We're not going to move in for at least a year. So be aware of that, all right? Okay, so now some of the pros of buying, all right? Buying a pre-built home. One of the pros is that you can see the layout of a pre-existing home. Not every builder has every model readily available for you to tour. So you have to visualize using the plans, the architectural plans, what your home is going to look like. If you're buying a pre-built home, obviously you can walk through it. So you can see, okay, that kitchen island is big enough. I love the layout of the kitchen. This is going to work perfectly. We love to entertain. So one thing that we wanted to make sure was that we had the kitchen that we wanted and so on. So buying a pre-built home, you can already walk through it. You can see the flow and the layout. You can figure out if that's going to work for your family. Buying a home, it doesn't necessarily work like that. That you may not be able to walk through the model. So just be aware of that. If you're going to build, you may not be able to walk through it. So buying a pre-existing home might be a little bit better on that aspect, especially if you're like me and you prefer to walk through and be able to touch everything. One nice thing about buying a pre-built home is that you already know the neighborhood. You can walk through it. You can talk to people when they're out in their yards. You can drive through, 9, 10 o'clock at night and see, is it a noisy neighborhood or is it very quiet? Is everybody, in their houses and quiet by, 9:30 so that I can get to sleep and that kind of thing. One really nice thing about pre-existing homes is if you are on a very short timeline, you can usually move in pretty quickly. We're talking 30 days on average. So you make your offer gets accepted, you go through the whole process, and then you get to move in. It's not the same with a build. Like I said before, your timeline is much different. So if you are on a shorter timeline and you need to be, say you're renting, and you need to be moved out within the next month and a half, 2 months, buying would be better for you. Now, that brings me to our first con. All right, moving into a home and making upgrades and repairs can be expensive. Okay, it can cost thousands of dollars. And despite what the home improvement shows make you believe, it's not done in, just a couple of days. It can take weeks, sometimes months, to make all of these repairs. And changing the layout of a house, okay? Say for instance, you come in, you like everything about the house except for the wall in the kitchen that divides the kitchen and the dining room. And so you think, you know what, that's fine. I can just knock that wall down. It's not always that easy. There might be plumbing in that wall. There might be electrical wires that you have to change. So just be cognizant of that, okay? If you want to start making repairs in a home that you've purchased, it's not always as easy. You do have to get permits for all of that. It's time consuming and so on. So that's one of the cons. It's not as easy to change the layout to make it exactly what you want as what some of these shows make it seem. All right. Even minor changes like repainting or changing the carpet or the flooring can end up being expensive and time consuming. One other con that I want to touch on real quick is home insurance. Okay, so home insurance for pre-existing homes, depending on how old they are, it can be more expensive. All right, your plumbing is older, your wiring is older, and home insurance companies are taking the risk that the wiring's not going to catch fire or a pipe's not going to burst, that there's nothing serious going on in the walls that they can't see. So in return, they pass that on to you. So your insurance premiums may be higher if you buy a pre-existing home, depending on the age. Okay, so just be aware of that as well. Make sure you shop around, get some quotes before you settle for one. Okay, so which is better? I can't answer that for you. Okay, it just depends. If you're on a short timeline and you need to move into a new home within the next couple of months, then buying is probably going to be better for you. If you know that you don't need to move or don't want to move for 6 months or more, then building could be a good option for you. One really nice thing, one of the amazing homeowners here in Colorado that we work with is J.G. Gardner. And one thing that they have that some builders don't do is that they've got their floor plans, but if there's anything that you want to change, they will sit down with you and with an architect and redraw and redesign certain aspects of the house. So it's exactly, I mean exactly what you want. If you want to change the elevation, which is just the front of the house, if you want to add an extra space on to the garage, if you need a 4-car garage instead of a 3-car garage, anything like that, J.G. Gardner is wonderful about changing that for you. So we knew exactly what we wanted. We went to the builders, we told them what we were looking for, and we were able to find exactly what we wanted, and the layout and the design, and I was able to pick the cabinets and so on. And so that worked for us. That was an option that was perfect for us. But again, whatever you decide, however you come to the conclusion, or even if you need help coming to that conclusion, find a realtor that you trust and talk with them, and they will help you figure out what will best suit your needs and within your budget. Okay, real quick before I go, using a realtor as a buyer is always free to you. Okay, even if you're building, the realtor gets their commission from the proceeds on the seller side, so you don't have to worry about that. So don't hesitate to call a realtor, talk to them, explain to them kind of what you're thinking, where you're sitting and so on, your budget and all of that, and they'll be able to help you decide, whether or not building or buying would be best for you. Okay? All right, well, thank you for your time. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to give me a call, send me an email. All of my details are down in the description box. As always, if you found any value to this video, please like the video. Don't hesitate to leave me a comment, even just a "Hey Jenny, love your shirt," rocking the Metallica shirt today. And subscribe so that you get notifications on new videos. Thanks, y'all, and you have a great night.